Good morning. We got Bunny, we got Paul, Swiffle, Jeff, and Laura. Good morning. How is everybody? Let me know if it sounds all right. Good morning, Bunny. How are you? Hey, Jim's Fish. Good to see you again. AV good? Thank you, Bunny. I had quite an eventful light night last night. Didn't get too much sleep. So, and some pretty exciting news as well. If nobody's aware, I'll get to that in a little bit. So, yeah, I got a couple things to talk about. Hey, Shady Grady. Actually, got a few things I want to talk about on this live stream. We'll wait a little bit, see if more people pop in here, and then we'll talk about the first one. And that first one would be my channel. So if nobody's aware, I think I've talked about it a few times in my videos, but I've been doing my YouTube channel now for just under 2 years. And, within that 2 years, I really wanted to take my channel off, and I'm a very impatient person. So anything I do, I like to do it fast. I like to do it hard. I like to get it done. I like to see results like now. Because I'm impatient, and I like to win. So when I started the YouTube channel, I did a couple videos, and then I said, okay, well, let me do some research. And I started watching channels that talk about just this subject, where they tell you how to better your YouTube channel and the tricks and the hashtags and SEO studio and stuff. So I linked TubeBuddy to my account, and then I started, before I posted any video, I would run it through an SEO checklist. I'd post at the right times. I'd do the ranking hashtags, try to make the best catching thumbnails as possible. Later on, maybe a year later or so, I started adding humor into my intros, and I just noticed nothing was really working. And then I realized, with what we do with our fish keeping channels, it's growing, it's getting bigger and bigger, and there is plenty of interest in it. You look at the bigger channels we have, like Aquarium Co-op, and Cagey Tropicals, and DIY King, and several more. I said to myself, I know it's possible, but how do you get information out there that everyone's been doing for years? How do you put a twist on it? How do I get people to watch my stuff more and grow my channel? Well, I started getting pretty bummed out. I even put a video about that out there, because it does get frustrating. You put a lot of time into it, but it really wasn't really picking up. So I decided to try some other different things, and of course, the more time you spend on here, the more people you meet and you network, and you become friends, and you learn things, and your channel grows. But I hit 1,000 subscribers about a month ago, and after that, my channel just took off big time. I don't know if anybody has noticed my subscriber count, but I'm approaching 4,000 subscribers, and I can't be more excited. And that's not going to happen unless it's for you guys. So you need to understand how appreciative I am of everybody in here that always supports me and watches my video and comments and joins me on my live streams. And so I'm pretty excited about almost hitting 4K. So that's the first thing. A big shout out to the Fish Fam and all you guys. I appreciate you greatly. Thought I saw something go fly by the dang window. You rock, Swiffle. Now, on to the second thing. Does everybody have their coffee? We shut this down without this stuff. Thank you, Laura. Now all of a sudden I'm forgetting what all I wanted to talk about. Well, when I started this stream, I said that I had a eventful night last night, and I only probably got maybe four hours of sleep. You got it, Laura. And that was because my mother-in-law, they had to take her to the hospital last night, and they found out she has a bowel blockage, so they're trying to get that removed by sucking it out, try to avoid the surgery. So we all had to get together, and my wife's sister and her family's up visiting from Florida. So we all got together, and it was just a late night, but it was a good time. I really enjoyed seeing them. Been a long time since I've seen them, but it did cause lack of sleep. But we're going to be going back at it today. Hopefully she'll be okay and they can get that bowel blockage removed without having to do surgery, because at the same time she also has COPD, and when you're doing that, there's a possibility that because she has COPD, it's not going to be good for her lungs, because they put a tube down your nose and your throat, and then they put a ventilator here, so she'll always have that the rest of her life. So we're hoping that she can just pull through and get that sucked out, and everything will be good there, but we will find out. We'll probably get some updates today on that. Yeah, Bunny, I'm excited. I'm excited about that. But it's almost 4K plus. Oh, I see. Yeah, I'm excited. Because, you work so hard and you try to do everything, and then when it finally just takes off, it's great. Hey, Peplin, good to see you. As we chat, maybe I'll remember the last two things I wanted to talk about. But I did want to talk about a little project I want to work on in my fish room. And I've already built a stand for it. And it's really cool because I'm putting this project together 100% free. It didn't cost me nothing. And I got some wood that was, there were some crates made out of this wood. And it was nice wood. And so I collected these things over the last couple of months just because they were sitting around the shop where I work. And I finally, I think it was last week, tore it all apart and made a nice little dual 20-gallon long stand out of this wood, and I painted it. And so my idea for my next project is to take I have a 20-gallon long out in the garage empty. And then I have another 20 long that houses now my single male beta, because my other male beta had died. And I'm going to put those two 20-gallon longs on that stand and bring them into the fish room. If I can slide this Tiger Barb tank down about 6 to 7 inches, it'll fit perfect on this wall. And those are going to be a dirted natural tank, just because I love how my dirted 10-gallon tank, there's no maintenance hardly at all, and the plants do great, and that's why I want to set up with them. But of course, with the one with the last male beta in it, I'll have to wait until he passes on before I can rip that up, obviously, and totally stress him out and destroy him. But the other 20 gallons empty, so I'll be making some videos on that. I do like the 20-gallon long tank. It has got a nice footprint. Probably one of my favorite tanks is the 20-gallon long. Good vibes for the doctors and nurses caring for her. Appreciate that, Laura. So that is one project I got going on. Yes, hit that like button. Thank you, Swiffle. Swipple. You ever hear of your fish all of a sudden take off? If you have a larger fish, you ever hear them just take off? That noise it makes in an aquarium? That's what I just heard back here. The only thing I can figure was that big pleco. Let's see here. Salient. A DIY pallet wood aquarium stand would definitely have a high chances to hit the YouTube algorithm. Oh, yeah, Jeff. This one wasn't particularly made out of pallets. It was like boxes that was used to house some hydraulic cylinders. And then I had an extra one. I can't remember what was in it, but I just brought them home. But while I was building that stand, they used different wood. Some of them were harder. Some of the wood was a little bit more soft. So I got worried, is this stuff going to hold up? The legs are very big and strong. They're like big 2x4. They almost look like, some of them look like Douglas fir, but I know it's not that. But the other couple boards were a different wood. They were a lot lighter, easier to cut, But so to ensure that it was going to hold up, when I build my stands, I build them strong. And this one here, I did go ahead and add, I usually use wood glue, but I didn't have any. So I used liquid nails. And that liquid nails is great. It'll actually hold the boards for you in place until you can start putting a screw in them. And then good luck trying to take it back off if you make a mistake. But I did go ahead and use screws and liquid nails on this just because of the nature of some of that wood being a little lighter. And it's been sitting for over a week. I like to let that paint smell gas off. I cannot bring fumes into this house, not only just for us, but we also have birds, and birds are very sensitive to fumes. And if I set it in here and it happened to go through the vents of the house when the heater or AC turns on, and it could be detrimental to the birds. So that thing has to sit out there a while and gas off. And the longer it sits, the stronger it gets with that dang liquid nails. But it's built, it's ready to go. I think it's pretty much gassed off, but I just got to get the time to. Next water change here, I'll move the Tiger Barb tank and see if it'll fit in there, and I hope it fits. But oh yeah, pallets. I've built some things out of pallets, Jeff. I enjoy that. It's fun. I actually made a backsplash one time in a previous house out of pallets. I cut them and staggered the seams, and I sanded them down, and we put a nice like stain on them. And it was neat because some of the boards were thicker than the others, so it almost gave you like a 3D background type of thing. Yeah, Bunny, they're I love the way they look. The only thing better I would have to say is a 30 long, like Depths has. Really nice tank. Pallet wood is different. Pallet wood is different. Not sure what you mean there, Swivel. Pallet wood is different with etc. Saying that's still technically, yeah, Jeff, you're right. It basically is. We're taking free wood, recycled wood, used wood, or whatever, and take her. The only thing I always hated about dealing with pallets and stuff like these boxes I use is tearing them apart. And I found the best way is to just get a Sawzall and cut through the nails. Don't try to pry. Don't try to bang with a hammer. You're better off just cutting through them, because a lot of times you're going to break them boards up and you're losing wood. So the best thing to do is just take your Sawzall, cut through the nails, staples, whatever they use to hold it together. It comes apart easier. And, if you have any sticking out, you can either pound it in or pull it out. Yeah, pallet wood is a different size. Yeah, exactly, Swift. Well, a lot of times you get these things that are all put together unless they're uniform or nice new ones or something like that, you tend to get different size board, different thickness of boards, and you really got to get creative with them sometimes to build stuff out of them. But I do enjoy building stuff for free wood. I'm trying to make a cup of coffee and breakfast and keeping up with Jack. Cool, Shady Grady. Appreciate you. I like breakfast. Atkins, what are we pounding? We were talking about building aquarium stands and building things out of pallets and, boxes that are made out of wood that you get for free. DIY stuff. I got some free wood, just saying. That's funny. Make sure you got to keep your wood clean. If anybody hasn't scrubbed their wood in their tanks lately, make sure you scrub your wood and keep that BBA off. Peplin charges. You cheap son of a selfish. I built coffee tables out of pallets, end stands, entertainment stands, backsplashes. I've never built an aquarium stand out of pallet wood. If I make my aquarium stands, I like to buy, go to Lowe's and get some new wood, lumber, and so I know it's level. At least the top part, I like to have a straight 2x4 that's not bowed, so it's going to support that tank all the way across. Good morning, Boots Cats. Good to see you. Gabriel, hello. Thanks for coming in, my friend. What are you stuff? Buttons are messing with. Peplin knows. I've been looking for 3G's channel. Anyone got a link? Any mods share 3G's link? That'd be awesome. Yeah, Peplin built some fires with pallet wood. That definitely works. That will work. The only pallets I don't like, I don't know if you guys seen them, but they're usually blue, and they're made out of crap wood. They're larger pallets. The gap for the forks of the forklift to go through a little wider, and they use like this big huge block for each thing. And those pallets, some of these pallets you come across are crap, but I think I'd go behind Lowe's or something like that, and I'd ask them first if I could go back there, and if they say yeah, you can get all kinds of free pallets. So what's everybody getting into this weekend? I have built framework out of pallet wood and faced it with cherry tongue and glue. Wow, you're getting intricate, Jeff. Dang. But the costs, the amount of money you save doing that has to be unreal. Yes, Peplin, I hate those things. I hate those pallets. Exactly. Swiffle setting up another 75-gallon tank. Oh, cool. What are you going to put in it? How are you going to set that up? Thank you, Jeff. And it's kind of rained last night, which it rained pretty good. And I hear it's supposed to rain today too. Normally, I think I'd probably go ahead and do some water changes today, but I don't think I'm going to get time to do so with the family up here and dealing with the mother-in-law. Oh, nice. I bet you had some sweet perks there, Jeff. Or not. Some people are sticklers. Got many fry to grow out. Okay, so it's going to be a grow out tank. What kind of fry, Swiffle, are you growing out in the 75? If you ever need to make something in the shop, you are more welcome to. Yeah, I think most of us enjoy making stuff out of pallets who can do that kind of thing. If you're handy and you have the tools, and it's fun to do. Not very good perks. Okay. So I'm trying to remember what the other thing I wanted to talk about. Can't remember. I talked about the first two. Maybe it'll come back to me. I just got to chat some more. I had all four of them in my mind and lost it. Oh, I remember the one, and a lot of you already commented that video is actually doing pretty decent. But when I did that first review on the Nicrew lights that Nicrew sent me on the C10 light. And like I said, I got a lot of comments from a lot of you already, but I wanted to know what you guys thought about that video and how I put it together. Keep in mind, when I make my videos, I use a smartphone and InShot. And then I have a nice mic, but that's how I edit and do my videos. I do have the ability to use a professional camera and some editing software on a computer, but I hate doing that. It takes so much extra time because you're shooting a video with a camera, an actual nice professional camera, and then you're hooking it up to a computer with software that's a heck of a lot more advanced and has a lot more features than your mobile apps like your InShot, your KineMaster. I love my current way of doing it, but what do you guys think of how I put that video together? If you caught it, because I'm currently working on the second review on the other light they sent me, which, by the way, out of all four that they sent me, this review on this light is my favorite light out of all the ones they sent me. But I was kind of doing it in a little bit different of a way, but I was trying to get your guys' opinions and what you thought about that video if you caught it. Okay, Peplin, I thought it was. Hey, Big Steve, thanks for stopping in. All right, Big Steve, make sure you tell them over there. Everybody here said we would, our heart goes out to them and best of wishes. I did leave a message on that link that they were sharing. And I left some nice, kind words there. Okay, Jeff, it's all good. It's on my channel. It's actually the newest video on my channel. So if you go to my channel, it's right up top. When you have time, there's no pressure, buddy. I'm just trying to get some input on how I make, because I'd like to make my videos a little bit better, a little nicer, a little bit more conducive to keeping people engaged and watching it. And at the same time, I want to talk about value on products that people send me to review. Thanks, Big Steve. Well, it's hard to keep up with all of them. There's a lot out there. You try to support everybody as much as possible. You go to the lives, you comment, you watch the videos. It's very, very hard to do it all. And I think everybody knows that and understands it. Well, thank you, Swipple. Big shout out to Big Steve going out there to share some condolences with the family in a terrible time. I did not know Myrtle very well. I think I talked with him a few times, and the interaction was good, but I didn't know him well. And so I started doing some researching after what happened, and I realized that he was only 22 years old. It's too soon. I think it was good because I watched it all the way through. I do recall wondering if you were comparing. I do recall wondering if you were comparing apples to apples. What do you mean, Shady Grady? And I appreciate the input. Hey, Austin, appreciate it. Thank you, sir, coming in. Shady Gradient, maybe you were talking about when I was comparing it to like the Fluval Aqua Skylights. Which I was just had a comment from a guy that watched my video and was talking about how he still likes the Aqua Skies better than the Night Crew, but he did like the Night Crew lights. Same product versus same product, apples versus apples. I mean, the old light. Back in 10-ish. I still don't know what you mean. Same product versus same product, apples versus apples. Do you mean when I was referring to all the lights they sent me, you know, how basically the controls are all the same across all of them, with just slight differences? Okay, Shady, I got you. Hey, Melvin, good to see you, buddy. Thanks for coming in. Swiffle likes comparing Ferraris versus Volkswagens. But yeah, I mean, I've got 3 of the Aqua Skies, and now I have 4 of the Night Crews. I had some older Night Crews that are still going. I also have a Marineland light in here. I've had the Aqueons. Out of all of them, the Fluval Aqua Skies would probably be my favorite. But then I got these Night Crews sent to me, and I'm pretty impressed with them. They work well. I'm very much impressed with the cost difference, obviously. The only thing that I am going to check out over the years is longevity, durability, dependability on these lights. Will they do better or outlast the Fluval Aqua Skies? I love the Aqua Sky lights, how programmable they are. They're much easier to program and control. You can control up to, I forget how many lights on one app. Very simple. With the Night Crew lights, you got to jump through a little bit more hoops when you're programming them. Or let's say the power turns out, they are just as simple as the Aqua Skies, like just reconnecting them and come back on. But they are a little bit more complicated when it comes to programming and controlling them compared to the Aqua Sky lights. But are you willing to forfeit ease of use for cost? I guess it comes down to, because for $75 you can get a 60-inch nice programmable LED light that will do the same thing. It's just not controlled by an app. Opposed to your Fluval Aqua Sky of that size, you're going to probably spend $280. I mean, that is a major price difference. I know a lot of people that like just to go get their shop lights and put on their tanks at Lowe's or whatever, because that's cheap. But I would almost combat that with saying you could go with Night Crew and get their programmable LED lights. It might still cost a little bit more than some of those shop lights, depending on the one you buy. But at least, you know, do you swap out the shop lights and go get a Night Crew light? It's good to see you. Yeah, Atkins. So, yeah, Atkins likes them. I think the length, features, and power. I think the length, features, and power, not just the price point. Yeah, I'm pretty impressed with it. It was pretty bright. If I put that thing on max, I don't know how well you can see it in that video, but when I put that thing on max, it was bright. But I adjusted my white and blue LEDs down on the Sky LED 2.0 to about 60%, and that makes it pretty nice. No, hi, honey. I think it was Mark who told me, but what were those fish called again? Thank you for looking it up. I need to write it down. Not a copy. Not a copy. There's price tag. Good morning, buddy. Fashionably late. I see what you did there. So Atkins can grow coral with them. Oh, awesome, Atkins. I'm glad you sharing your input with that and your experience with it. And I think you can choose on some of them. You can choose between like 5 or 6,000 K to 12,000 K. They're pretty bright. I will say, Atkins, though, this one light that they sent me, and that's probably going to be my third review that I do, is the classic LED that they sell. It has a wider stature, and this version will go up to 48 inches. So good for a 4-foot tank. But out of all four they sent me, this light gets really warm. Like, I put my temp gun on it, and it was it hits 114 degrees. I don't know if it's supposed to be that way or what, but that's pretty warm to the touch. Hey, buddy. Hey, my fish tanks. Thanks for coming in. But it was a great video. I'm just giving you criticism. Absolutely. On the structure. Absolutely, Shady Gray. And that's why I asked. I'm not a snowflake. I want that criticism. I want to hear back because I want to do better. And if you're not willing to take criticism, you'll stay stagnant. So anybody, and I've said it before, if you watch my videos, feel free to give me criticism, good, bad, because that's how we grow. One I dropped in a tank. But what are you saying, Shady Grady? When I make these videos, should I not worry about comparing them to other lights and just do a video on the light I am reviewing and just leave the other ones out? Is that what you're saying? Oh yeah. They are splash proof, but they are not made to be submerged. Shop lights put out a lot of heat also. Yeah. I would like to suspend my lights from the ceiling in all my tanks and keep them off the top of my tank if I could. Oh, wow. Coldwater's in. Good to see you. I was just thinking about you this morning, Brandon. And I think it's because I saw that video you had up. It's good to see you. And I was thinking about your fish room and from what I can see when you're doing your live streams and how it looks. And I don't know. Just thinking about you. You have both brands too? Okay. That one Marineland I have, I can't remember the name of it, but it's a big wide. It's for a 4-foot tank. There's literally 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 18, 19, 25 big round LED lights on it. When I had that on one of my 4-foot tanks, it was causing too many algae issues, and you can't program that light. So I put it on my 6-foot, 125-gallon tank, and it does great in there. But I did have to add some spotlights that I put LEDs on each end because it would not illuminate the sides of the aquarium. But it's programmable as far as on and off, but there's no ramp up time. There's no simulating sunrise and sunset. It's on or off. But I do like that light, and it's still going strong, and I got a really good price on it. My wife found me $40 on the Facebook market site. So I do like that Marineland light. I don't know. Maybe I'm spoiled. I think once you get those fully programmable lights and you've had them for a while, it's hard to go back to just an on-off light. And I like the fact that it ramps up slowly and goes down slowly, simulating that sunrise and sunset. Because I don't know how many times I've seen lights come on and the fish jump. So it's less stressful, and it really mimics nature a little bit more. I don't know how you guys feel about lights with those features. Appreciate you coming in, Brandon. Good morning, dearest Ivy, Shady, Melvin, Brandon. Everyone's saying hello. I love all this chat and activity. Hashtag LGB, hashtag Maple. If Night Crew ever send you a Hyper Reap LED light, I'll test it for you. Oh yeah, Atkins, and you know it. Like I've said before, the bigger this channel gets, and the more stuff that maybe vendors send me something that I don't need after I review it. Those are the kind of gifts that I would love to give away on a live stream, just like you're saying there. Because I don't want to just give away sample packets of food. I want to give something of value away and help support you guys and give back to you guys who support me. Good morning, Christopher Finn. That is a new name, I think. I appreciate you coming in and saying hello. Maybe I saw you before. I just don't recognize the name too often. So, what are you doing today, Brandon? What you doing anything in the fish room? Or you just chilling out today on this Saturday? It would be interesting to see if they could check the others at the shop to see if they are as hot. Yeah, that's what I thought about, Laura, too. I thought maybe I got a lemon, but that thing gets warm now. Like I said, it hit 114 degrees. It sits at 114, 115 degrees when I put my temp gun on it. That thing gets warm. I like constructive criticism, not bad. Mean criticism makes a huge difference. Yes, sir. Yep. You got to have it. I mean, if you're one of the people that can't take it, then you might want to think about not being on YouTube because it's going to come your way even if you don't want it. Absolutely. Thanks for thinking of me and coming by. Just going through chat here. Everybody's saying hello. Love that. Once you go app, you never go back. I've heard that before, Peplin. It is true. I really enjoy those Aqua Sky lights. They do a great job. So my Tiger Barb tank over here has right here, I guess be it to my left, your right, it has an Aqua Sky on it. The 75-gallon Abuna tank has an Aqua Sky on it, and then I have a 10-gallon tank with one on it. I'm headed to the local club event, Killifish Carnival and Tropical Magic. 2 events in one spot in South Bend. Catch y'all there. Have a great day. Okay. All right, Brandon. Be safe. Thanks for coming in. I'm assuming maybe you'll put a video out or share your experience on your next live stream. I did hit your bell on your channel because I was noticing I didn't see you go live. So now I got that bell activated so I can catch you. Cool. I'm glad you could help Bunny out there, Melvin. I have Aqua illumination lights, but I still think Night Crews are worth getting. And that's what I'm seeing so far, Atkins. I'm pretty impressed with them. I can't say that enough. This one back here, that classic LED light is very bright, and I can show you that here in a little bit. It is a bright light. Maybe that's why it runs so warm. And I've even dialed the percentages down on the LED lights, and it's still banging. I can see it starting to create algae, I think, on my glass. I'm going to have to get in there. The only thing I don't like about that classic LED light is, for some reason, maybe it's just me, but I'm having a harder time programming that light. I've got the directions. I'm trying to understand it, but for whatever reason, that light out of all 4, it's my nemesis. It's my kryptonite. I'm having a hard time getting that light where I want it to be. Okay, thanks, Jeff. Yeah, I'm trying to do things a little bit better than just sitting there talking into the camera. I wanted to jazz it up a little bit. The only problem is the only music. So when I add music to my videos, I will Google copyright-free music, and then I'll save that to my phone, and then I can add it into my videos. But no matter what, Google still sees it as a copyright. It'll say copyright, but then when you click on it, I'm sure you guys have all seen this, and then it'll say, this is not a copyright strike. It does not affect your channel. So why copyright it at all? I don't want to download and pay for another app like Epidemic Sounds just to have music. I will keep music out of my videos if I have to, when there's plenty of free ones out there that you can get that are copyright free. is 65. What do you mean 65, Bunny? 65%? Workbench. I want to get some too, Bunny. They have other rare tetras. Hey, Craig. Thanks for coming in, buddy. You just shower, wash the dog hair away. Hello. Gotcha. From that horse. My mom won't be helping. She's learning in case she ever needs to take my place, so I'll have to help her today. Thank goodness I got you, Bunny. Sometimes it serves to be behind. But that's cool. Doing that together. I wish Night Crew would offer a Fluval Stout app on a plant light. Yeah, that would be cool, Jeff. Maybe they will in the future. I know you're a fan of the app-driven lights. Sharpie, if you guys have ever watched Sharpies, he hates new technology. He hates those dude. Like, he just wants on, off, done. He doesn't care about none of that stuff. It's just, I think it's cool how you have so much different opinions across the board. You got some people that could care less. They just want a light that they can turn on and off. They don't even care about timers. Or you got the ones that like the basic lights, but they'll put a timer on it. Or then you got like Jeff, like myself, that like all the programmable lights that you can put on an app and have fun with and play with. Higer lights are stupid. We got some for free and sucked the program. You know, Peplin, I contacted Higer to see if they'd be willing to send me some of their products to review. I know that they've been sending some products to several people. And I know that there's a lot of mixed reviews with Higer's equipment. Excuse me a minute. But they would not. They weren't interested in me. From what I hear, that's not necessarily a bad thing. Excuse me a minute, guys. I'll be right back. Now, don't go anywhere. We got more to talk about. Yeah. Now, see, I left and we lost 2 people now. Sorry about that. Like 65K. 6,500 is what that is, Bunny. Yeah, it's just brighter. And with a couple of these lights, you can choose between 65K and... Well, let me look. I don't think it's this one. Oh, I was wrong. It's not the classic one. This one I have yet to review is the RGB plus white 24/7. Thank you. And you can choose between, like Jeff is saying down here, 6,500 and I think 16K, 16,000. And there is quite a bit of difference. On that video, on the C10 light, I have the light on a black like curtain, and you can see the difference between the two as I switch them. If you want to check that video out, Bunny, it's the top newest video out on my channel. You'll clearly see the difference between both of them. But it is bright, very bright. Yep, 6,500. The Night Crew Hyper Reef can be controlled on a Kessel controller. Okay, that's all Greek to me, Atkins. I don't know nothing about saltwater tanks. Yes, great temperature of light for growing plants. Bunny, I use 6,500 to grow my veggies. 6-foot LED. Wow. Well, my longest light is now 60 inches. I never had a light 60 inches before. They sent me that one. The longest has been 4 foot. So reach out to Glowrium about doing a light review. All right, Jeff, I'll do that. I appreciate that. And who are they? I've never heard of them. But I love companies, big and small, trying new things. Glowrium. I'll check that out. Thank you. I love doing reviews. It's one of my favorite things to do. Cornish Fishing Game, good to see you. Thanks for coming in. I have one light with a remote, but the rest are on-off. I played with the remote a lot when I first got the light, but now that the novelty's worn off, I just use the on-off button. Cornish, that's funny because the very first really nice LED light I ever bought was the Phoenix 24/7 fully planted full spectrum light. This was back in 2016. Phoenix is a decent brand name light. Their remotes look a lot like Nicros with some slight differences. But same. I was playing with the remote, messing with all the buttons, trying all these things. And as time went on, I realized I only need two. I'm only going to use 2 or 3 things on this. And that's what I stuck to. I didn't worry about trying to, although I played with it, trying to get different tints of lighting and make the tanks look different. After a while, it was just unnecessary and I lost interest. The only thing about that Phoenix, I don't know if they've changed their features over the years, but when you hit 24/7 and you pick the time closest to you, and then you hit 24/7 again, the light would take off automatically and simulate day and night. That light was terrible because there was like no downtime. Like it would come on when you wanted it to, and it would go off when you wanted it to. But you didn't have a lot of programmability with it. So I think the light was off at like maybe 3 hours at night, and boom, it was coming back on. I'm like, what kind of crap is this? So from there on out, I just used it for on and off like you. And then eventually the drivers in it, I think, are starting to die because some of the buttons flicker and settings, and it still works, but I threw it in the dang closet. Yes, it is considered daylight. You are 100% right. When I watch an equipment review, I want to watch a comparison of items that have the same features and possibly price points, then compare them to more expensive and cheaper ones. But that's just me. Well, that makes sense, Shady. I think we all have our ways of figuring things out, and that's definitely a good way of doing things. And I kind of did it where I showed the Aqua Sky on the 10-gallon, and then I showed the C10 light on there. The C10 light did seem to be a little brighter, but I don't think I had that Aqua Sky maxed out either. Yeah, 6,500, not 65K. 65,000 would be insane. Atkins, what is the Kessel controller? Jeff would like to know. You like the, yeah, I liked putting it. So did you like what I did there? Because I thought about going forward and doing that with all of them. Putting it on that curtain because that black dark curtain really showed the colors and everything on there. The Glowrium light is a durability built light with app control. I can't get in that damn app. Okay. I'll see if they're willing. Yeah, Peplin, I got you. They're great. Fishion made it in. Hello, thank you. Appreciate you coming in, buddy. Agreed, Peplin, you are a cheap bastard. Good morning. Peplin, Foxy, Bunny, Jeff Kane. You're saying hello. Laura, are you still in here? I have a question for you. I have specific ramp times, overdrive LEDs, underdrive underdrive others. Wow. I have specific ramp. Yeah, and that's I have so all these lights come with a pre-programmed 24/7 cycle. On all these night crew lights, when you first get it, and they actually tell you to do this regardless, to reset the lights to factory default settings. You just press the power button, the setting button for 3 seconds, and boom, it defaults these lights. You can choose to go forward from there and leave it be because there's a built-in 24/7 mode. But I found that mode really is not conducive to actual real life because the lights don't start coming up till 9 a.m. And then obviously I can't remember how many hours they give you a daylight on the default, but I had to change it. I like my lights starting to ramp up and come to 7 a.m. and then so on and so forth. So this nice thing is you can change them. But with this RGB W 24/7 light, I have it set as a default, other than dying down the LEDs a little bit because they're way too bright. I got to play with that light and learn it. Before I do a review on that light, I've got to get this programming down on it. Overdrive is a game changer. Game changer. Atkins gets to play with all those expensive toys on the saltwater side. Some of them lights are awesome looking. Hanging from the ceiling, they look like a box. But I think we talked about it before. The only thing I don't like about the saltwater lights, it seems like it makes everything freaking blue. But again, I don't know nothing about saltwater tanks. Maybe you tell me it don't have to be that way. But I hate that constant blue look on some of them tanks. I wish more lights had warm diodes instead of cool white. See, I hate, unless you have a specific purpose, I don't like warm lights. I don't like that natural warm light. I like my daylights. In my house, the way my house is built, not a whole lot of natural sunlight can come in the windows, so we're putting daylight LEDs everywhere. But when you're talking about aquarium, I realize you got a different need there and want. Laura, do you have Janice's information? Because 2 weeks ago, I think it was now, she won the giveaway and she was supposed to send me her address on my email. I've sent her 2 different emails and I still haven't received it from her. And I'd like to send her giveaway. If you have a way of contacting her, can you please tell her to send me her address so I can send her giveaway? Ian, you know way too much for all of us. Yeah, Ian. Yeah, too many are blue. And do you like the blue or no? I use daylight spectrum for my main photo period, but I do use blues in the morning and evening. Oh, I absolutely. But a lot of them will blaze that blue light all the time. The only Christmas light I can't stand at Christmas time is the blue light. Some of these houses put these new blue lights on them, and they just hurt my eyes. I don't know what it is about the blue lights, but it hurts my eyes. My fluvels ramp up from 6:30 a.m.-ish to 3 to 4 p.m. until 6, and then down at 11:30. Yeah, and that's fun stuff to play with. Oh, no, I don't, but Dan probably does. Oh, okay, Laura. Well, the next week after she won that giveaway, she didn't send it to me. I saw her in a live stream, and I saw her on my own, and I told her about it. She still hasn't messaged me. I still have it here. It's those nice nano Chemipure green, Chemipure filtration packets. I want to send them to her. Blues all day, all year long. It drives me nuts. Yeah, it gets on your nerves. It messes with the brain, man. It messes with the brain. I'm at the bottom of the chat. Well, I'm enjoying this light talk. Lighting still seems like a hot topic. People love to talk about lighting, and I do too. I kind of like talking about lighting more than I like talking about filters. Definitely heaters. In the summertime, and then we're coming up to it, I pull all these heaters out of these aquariums. I hate having to run a heater. And I can do it all summer, but for whatever reason, I have to put them back in the winter. My house doesn't regulate the heat in my tanks as well, but I can't wait till I can. I don't know what to do there because my tanks will stay about 74 degrees without heaters. But since I put the heaters back in and I'm regulating more like your 75 to 78 degrees, some of the tanks have rose up to 80. My fish are a lot more active, and I do like that. So I don't know if I should pull them out or not, but I hate running the extra electricity to run all the heaters or consuming it. And I hate seeing them in the tank. It's just another thing to worry about. Freshwater seems behind on the LED game. Well, I don't know, Atkins, they're out there. I just don't feel like dropping hundreds of dollars on a light, man. Not when you can go to Lowe's and buy those $5 clip-on spot LEDs and screw an LED, or they come with no bulb. They're for construction. I painted them they were silver. I painted them black and screw an LED light in them. And they light an aquarium up pretty nice for $5. And you clip them on the back of your tank so they're not on your glass lids. So now you don't have to worry about anything on your lids anymore. And then I set them all up with timers, so they still were coming on and off by themselves. There was just no ramp up time, no adjusting spectrums or anything like that. But shoot, for $5, nothing sitting on your glass, screw an LED bulb in it, works great. Do they look as nice as the LED aquarium lights? No. No. But they work. I'm still looking for your jar of Chemipure. I have it packed somewhere. As soon as I find it, it sure as I haven't forgot. Oh, that's okay, Bunny. Take your time. There's no rush on that. I can definitely put it to use with these crazy Mbunas back here because I am very impressed with Chemipure over Purigen. I've used Purigen a lot. I've even doubled the dose, tripled the dose with Purigen, and I saw no reduction of nitrates. The water, I didn't see anything. People have different experiences, but I didn't really see a lot of water clarity with it. You used Chemipure one time, man, what a difference. So I'm a Chemipure fan for sure. I just hope maybe I can get monetized and Chemipure will get a deal with me and send me stuff monthly because, man, I don't know anybody who could afford to keep running Chemipure in multiple tanks. That gets expensive. But it works well. I'm really impressed with Chemipure's product. They do a mix of carbon, a high-quality carbon, and a high-quality resin, and it works very well. It said the last 3 to 4 months. Now, I still have that Chemipure running in some of these filters, and the resin has turned to like a coffee brown color. I don't know how much more it is absorbing, but we're going to find out. And at first, the Chemipure, if you guys didn't see that video, really did make an impact on my nitrates, but they did come back. But I'm going to go around and check my tanks, and we're going to find out where they're at. So, but I know that Chemipure filtration is kind of another subject that people don't, you either like it or you don't. Is it a waste of money? I haven't used chemical filtration for a while till Chemipure sent me theirs. But if I was going to use chemical filtration, it would be Chemipure. I know that you can recharge Purigen, Jeff. I never worried about it because I would buy the Purigen in the big tubs, and once it was fully saturated, I would just take my media bags, rinse it out, and just put fresh in and put it back in. I'm impatient. That's just me. I'm not doing the bleach water mix to recharge it. I just throw it out and put more in. I'm not real sure about the Chemipure. I'm not sure if you can recharge ChemiPure. DI Signs. Hello. Good morning from Clayton, Idaho. This is my first time on your chat. It's good to see you. I appreciate you coming in, man. Anybody's welcome to come in and chat with us. I do live streams Saturday morning, 9 a.m. Eastern, and I also do Tuesdays, 6 p.m. Eastern. Yeah, exactly, Peplin. Just one more thing to buy, but it really does clear those tanks up. I don't think there's any chemical filtration that is going to actually lower your nitrates. I thought ChemiPure was going to be the one to do it because I did see a reduction in nitrates when I first put it in, because I tested before and after. I was at like 40 ppm nitrates. I put the ChemiPure in. The next day, it went down to 20. Purigen never did that. But it didn't take long for them nitrates to come back up. And as I said in that video, they claim that it breaks the biomatter down, the uneaten food, the poop, to the point your biological filtration, your filter can take it out of the tank. Because these don't actually remove nitrates. It breaks it down so it can be removed. But I don't think that there's any ChemiPure, or I keep saying that, any chemical filtration that will actually break down and lower nitrates. I think it comes down to elbow grease, maintenance. If you're wanting to buy chemical filtration to slow down water changes, I think that you're going to find out that's not going to work for you. In the end of the day, you still have to put the elbow grease in. But now I have only tried Purigen, and I have only tried ChemiPure and Carbon. I have tried the different Fluval chemical filtrations. None of them has. I'm sure it pulled impurities out of the water, but none of them has lower nitrates and kept them there. Yeah, exactly, Atkins. You're just going to have to continue them water changes. I did find her on with me. And that's what I was trying to get her to do, Laura, is to message me on Facebook Messenger so we could talk there, and she can't. She's not doing it. Yeah, and I have noticed a lot of people mount their extension plugins under their tank near a sump. My sump has glass covers, but what about condensation and electricity? Doesn't seem safe. Yeah, I mean, Bunny, it's something that is something you definitely have to take in consideration. You may want to think about a GFCI power. Why is the name escaping me? The surge protectors, the GFCI surge protectors. As long as you have a GFCI, that would make that situation there, Bunny, a lot safer. Or put it on the floor behind your tank, which would be lower, is another thing you can do. Yes, water and electricity don't mix. We all know that. So you can go GFCI. There's a lot of options. I'm sure there's covers out there that you can get now. But that's definitely something you want to be careful with for sure. Yeah, Jeff, absolutely. I have never bought Frogbit because I do my research before I do stuff. And it's still happening where people actually get mad at that Frogbit because it never stops. I don't want, not that it's a nuisance plant, because plants do nothing but help your aquariums. And like Jeff says with the Frogbit, you get so many of it, and much like algae, it really absorbs these excess nutrients and helps your aquarium. But it gets into everything. It grows like a weed. But it is something I kind of want to try in one tank. And I hear somehow they're going to go ahead and get into the other tanks off of your arm when you're doing maintenance. If you look at my sumps, I have no plugs anywhere near it. I agree with you. Try keeping a little cabinet next to the tank for electric stuff. Keeps it dry, safe. Also look for neater. Yeah, make it look neater. And you got to be careful with it. You need to separate it. You don't want to make a mistake. Having water go down the cord, drip right on there, go down in, and have a dang fire or whatever the case may be. Get it out of the way. House plants sticking out of the back of your tank will help nitrate. Yep, Cornish, absolutely. I got pothos on all my tanks. I had peace lilies. I had spider plants. The spider plants and the peace lilies did not do well, but the pothos are thriving, and it makes it look nice. So yeah, I agree with you 100% on that, and help reduce nitrates. Yeah, Swiffle. I always write down. I usually get about 7 months before I have to clean all my FX series canisters. That has changed a little bit, and only because they're getting packed full of like dead plant matter and stuff getting broken up and getting sucked in. I think it's only been 3 or 4 months since I last cleaned mine. I don't see a reduced flow in any of them. So I'm not due for mine yet, but I always kind of enjoy cleaning canister filters. I don't know about you guys, but I like cleaning them. Hey, Raisin Fishes. Good to see you again. Plants, and more plants. You got it. More plants, the better. They can control an aquarium themselves if you have enough. Let's see. Select Pets in. Hey, buddy, how you doing this morning? Let's see. You would have to have anaerobic denitrification to remove nitrates without plants or water changes, but be efficient. To be efficient, the denitrification system would be more difficult than most would ever want to do. Yeah, I've researched that a little bit. Select Pet, you're 100% right. I think it just comes down to elbow grease. Most of us, if we want to keep them nitrates low without doing a lot of work, I don't think it's going to happen unless you get into something like you're talking about. It's elbow grease, it's water changes, it's getting out the uneaten food, the poop. And also, you can't forget that if you take too long to clean your filtration system, they can turn into a nitrate factory. All that stuff builds up, clogs up, and it's going to continue with high nitrates too. So, and what I do is I alternate that. I was going, I think I do water changes once a month. I actually did it. Last time I did a water change, it was only 3 weeks after my last one. But then during that time, that gives me plenty of time to go around and do my filters when I need to. Good to know, at Jeff Kane, and I am returning to the hobby after a 25-year break, and I'm realizing how much I need to learn about the new ways of fish keeping and watery friends healthy. Cool. But you know what, man? There's really not new ways. There's new technologies. There's new ways of keeping fish, but the base of it is still the same. You don't have a lot more to learn than you probably already know. Keep it simple. I don't know what size tanks you're running, what kind of fish that you're keeping or want to keep, but don't get too excited with that, man. Just do it like you did before. I mean, I don't know how experienced of a fish keeper you are. I don't know how long you've been keeping fish before your 25-year hiatus. But other than just trying out new things and other than maybe some new research and new findings, it's really the same as it always has been. Everything else is really kind of fluff. John, too early for those big words. Talking about Select Pet. Just lurking and working in the fish room before heading out to a couple rescues. What you mean a couple rescues, Select Pet? Where are you going? Who are you going to rescue? That's the duckweed and the frog bit. That's the duckweed. Frog bit is controllable. Oh, okay, Jeff. I got you. I'm learning on those. Need cords or safe cords? They can not be, though, Atkins, especially if you have them, the cords in the wrong place. Maybe you move a tank stand and it gets pinched on a nail and it cuts it. Boom. Maybe water drips on it and you don't have the loop and it goes down right to the freaking socket. But you are right. I get you. I'm just messing with you. Neat cords are safe cords, and it just looks better. It doesn't look like a rat's nest. You know where your plugs are. I label all my stuff. Like everything I have plugged into my power strips, I have a label on it, so I know what it is for each tank as well. I think KG Tropicals calls it power management, and that's definitely something you definitely want to get into and take into consideration. It makes your life easier. The more efficient you are, the easier you can run your fish room. You're going to run your fish room. You're not letting your fish room run you, type of thing. With the more efficient and neat you keep things. All my outlets in the fish room are all 6.5 feet high above the tanks. That's a good idea, Peplin. Did you say pot nose or pot plant? Pothos. Smart, Brian, unless gravity falls. That's foolproof. Hey, Mad Mex, thanks for coming in, buddy. Good to see you. Good morning to you. What the hell's going on in this house? Well, you have won half the battle with being able to accept and learn the new info. Just be careful. Work through the weeds. Don't jump into one person's info and a lot of opinions. Yeah, exactly, Laura. Well said. Mbunas are nasty. I have to clean them a lot. You know, Swiffle, everybody says that. But y'all know me. I got an overstocked 75-gallon Mbuna tank behind me. And I don't have any issues out of it. There's not a lot of honey. They eat everything. Nothing's left behind. There is some poop, but my power head and FX4 canister filter takes care of that for the most part. I don't have issues with aggression. It's way overstocked. I found brand new babies in there. They just keep coming. But I just don't have these issues out of Mbunas that people were saying. If I pan this down, right there, Mbuna tank, the nitrates never go above 80 ppm. And that's doing monthly water changes. Is it because I feed high quality food? I'm asking. I don't know. But I don't have any issues in that tank. Everybody's saying hello. I love the chat. I love all this activity. The old way still works just fine. That's what I was saying, Jeff. Yep, it works. If it works, don't fix it. If it's not broke, don't fix it. Keep it basic. Keep it simple. Yeah, don't get wrapped up. I took my Marineland canister off my 75-gallon tank and put a Title 110. Love's got to. Love's. And a Title 110. Love's got to now. What? The title. Okay. I hear good things about that filter. Never had one. I do like the fact that the pump's in the water so you don't have to prime it. If there's a power outage, obviously it's going to restart itself. My favorite hang in the back filter is the AquaClear 110. But the only thing I don't like about it, because it's got massive amounts of room to do whatever you want inside of it, but I do hate that the pump is outside of the tank and not internal, so you do have to prime it every time. That's the only downside to that AquaClear 110 that I hate. Other than that, if they made that AquaClear 110 with an internal pump, I'd never buy another hang on the back filter again. Drip loops should be talked about more. Absolutely. You see about it in directions when you set up an air pump or anything, but that's about it. You don't hear too many people talking about drip loops. Anytime I have, if I'm using a sponge filter and an air pump, I'll hang it on the wall up above my tanks. One, they're less noisy. Two, if the power goes out, you don't even need check valves because they're not going to go uphill. I work with some of the fish cubs in my area, and there is a program where people can contact us to surrender fish they can't keep. It helps find us fish homes and just very cool. It's like pet. And I think I knew about that watching your live streams and talking with you. That's awesome. I do rescue some fish, if you want to call it rescue, in my local community. I've got several fish here now that people were going to get rid of. One of them had a common pleco and was literally said, if you don't come get this fish, I'm going to put them in the freaking lake. Because nobody wanted them. I said, I'll come get him. And I got him to this day. Now, he has given me nothing but shit, or sorry, I shouldn't swear, nothing but trouble, but he's okay, and he's in here with a fish that can hold his own now. But that's cool that you do that. I got a few calls to come pick up some angels and rams today. And that's like, you can't beat that either, man. You're getting free fish. But I can't imagine that after some time, you might be running out of room. Like, what are you going to do? Are you going to set up more tanks for that purpose that you do for just rescuing fish? So you have more room for them? Maybe a stock tank from like Tractor Supply. You could get one of them big 300-gallon stock tanks and hold a lot of fish in there. If you don't have one already. Pot plants. You would. That would be what you heard. My God. Pep, check your check valve. Just a 55 and a quarantine tank. And I am very partial to angelfish, something to enjoy in my older age. Yeah, I got several angelfish myself. They're definitely a popular one. I really enjoy them. They're fun. I like how they're always picking at each other as long as you don't get too crazy. But definitely an awesome fish to keep in the fish room for sure. What I like about angelfish, they really don't move around a lot unless they're spooked or after another one. They really don't interact with the substrate a lot, and they're mid-grade swimmers. They'll go to the top to eat. They will go down to the substrate and pick some food off. They don't take up a lot of room except for height-wise, right? But they're a very thin fish. So honestly, if that's what you're going to be keeping, nothing, just water and a filter, right? Dang blood parrot, am I doing over there? Just what you did before, I'm sure worked just fine for them. It's South American cichlid. They don't really need a lot of flow because that's just not, they don't like flow. Honestly, you could probably use sponge filters in that tank if you wanted to, depending on how many you're keeping. They'd be just fine with a couple sponge filters and one each in the back corner or something like that. I don't know how to check my valve. My air comes from above. Where are you from? How do you say your names? Is it Dick Signs? Don't get funny with that, people. My favorite hang on is the Fluval Breeder Box. I had that Fluval Breeder Box, Jeff. Jeff Kane was in Nevada. Haven't had fish here in Idaho near the Frank Church Wilderness area. Very cool. I'll try to remember that. I took my I don't know what a pluck ghost is, but to the pet store, and he got too big. He wouldn't buy him, so I just gave him to him. Okay. Mad Max coming in saying hello to everybody. Again, it's good to see you, Mad Max. Always a pleasure. Our water is so hard here, I have to learn how to test and change my parameters. Or, Dick Signs, you could get a fish that likes harder water, like African cichlids. Beautiful, colorful fish. Will like your hard water and thrive in it. Because if your water is hard out of the tap, you're better off leaving it be and letting your fish adapt to it than trying to chase your hardness and change your pH. There are natural ways that you can lower hardness in your water and lower pH in your water by putting driftwood in it, but I think you would need a crap ton of driftwood to actually complete that. You might be better off just getting a fish that likes hard water like mbunas, African cichlids. And it's going to be less work for you, less stress. But keep in mind, mbunas do, if you get the male and female in there, you're going to have a lot. I have two phony angels. Decided I want all phony angel tank. Oh, angelfish are great. Stands for Dixon Designs. All right, cool. Thank you. We want to, if you're willing, unless your name is Dixon, we'll just call you Dixon if that's okay with you. Here in a fish fam, we're all a big community. We'll call each other by their first names if the person's okay with it, rather than their YouTube channel names. Laura has hard water issues too. I keep a few tanks free for rescues. I QT them a while. Sometimes they come in pretty rough. When they get healthy, etc., I typically donate them to a club to help them pay for stuff. Very cool. So that's cool, John. You have an in and an out for it. That's very good. I do not care for chicklets and never did. Cichlids. Okay. To each their own. Absolutely. I'm at the bottom of it. Okay. So is Dixon okay? Guys, I'll be right back. I got to go to the bathroom. Last time I left and came back, I was -2 people. You better be here when I get back, or I will find you and I'll kill you. Liam Neeson. Thank you, Laura. That quote was from the movie Taken. All rights reserved. Cannot use it from anybody else. Yeah, behind. Cool, Dexter. Yeah, I like them. Yeah, I've never kept any of the larger cichlids like your peas and haps. I've only had the imbunas, and I can't say I haven't kept cichlids because I got Oscars. I like my big Oscars. I like my angelfish. I like the imbunas. What else? The blood parrots I have. They're pretty sure there's cichlids out there. You didn't even know we're cichlids. I know that was the case for me. But I like bigger fish. I got goldfish over here. It just seems like the bigger fish last longer. I got little fish too. I got neon tetras. I've got platies. I got a zebra danio, roselines. I think those are. Got a guppy or two. I got the rasporas. I put them in a 29-gallon tank. Got a lot of plants in there. I like them all. But as time goes on, I find out, I don't know, I have less issues with bigger fish. They last longer. But I like them all. I got some serpe, longfin serpe tetras down here. I've got some betas that I rescued. But once I think this 125-gallon tank becomes available over here, which is my goldfish tank, I'm going to move all my imbunas to that tank because I want a big imbuna tank. Imbunas have really become one of my favorite fish. How are we talking about our thoughts on Tuesday's stream? Uh-oh. Was it bad? Well, you want to talk about that, Laura? Did I do something? No, I appreciate you bringing that up. I did add the Tuesday. That's the other thing I wanted to talk about, Laura. You're an amazing moderator. You're just truly amazing. Thank you. for those who made it to my first, I started a second live stream on Tuesdays at 6 p.m. Eastern. I had a lot of activity there. I was able to engage with a different crowd because I'm doing it at 2 different times, which was the point. I wanted to be able to chat with everybody and give everybody a chance to come chat with me. But those of you who made it to that stream, what did you think of it? What did you think of the time? What did you think of it? And I think I'm going to use that stream to bring people up, whoever wants to come up and join me. I'll do that on both. I don't care. I just enjoy chatting with you guys and talking about subjects. No, I did never looked in. I did look into it, Atkins. I can get them at Lowe's, but I haven't hooked it up. And I'll tell you why I haven't done it. I was talking with Tommy. I was talking to Silver Creek Aquatics about that. And there's a special adapter that you have to get. I don't know if it's special, but there's an adapter you have to get, because how I do my water changes is I have 2 Python systems, not 4, 2. I'm just using 2 hands equaling 4 fingers. So I have one that hooks up to my garden hose outside. I put through the window, and that's what I use to suck out any uneaten food and poop and crap, right? If I have to do that. Usually I don't even have to do that anymore. I like to do that because all my tanks are sand, and I don't want any sand collecting in my plumbing. So all that goes out of the window outside. Then I have a whole separate unit I hook to my faucet just for filling. That's where this RODI filter would come into play for the RVs. And I guess there's an adapter that you have to use to hook that Python up to that filter. And I guess from talking to Tommy and a couple other people, they do have a tendency to leak. And I really can't have leaks in my house coming from my faucet. So I kind of stopped, and I thought about, well, maybe I can put Teflon tape on the threads to so if you can, and I think you sent me on Instagram the filter, the adapter to do this, but I was worried about leaks. So you guys let me know. I agree. First names are fine. We're being called Mr. Freshwater Tanks. Yeah, Tim's, but yours is easier because you got your name in there, Tim's Freshwater Tanks. But yeah, it's just a little bit more personable. If they're fine with it, I like to using the names. Cichlids are cool. It's the closest thing we have to saltwater coloration in the freshwater side, Atkins, other than discus and some of them small fish like killies, man. You met killifish are super colorful, man. I can't believe how pretty those killifish are, but they only live like 2 years. Oh, he's talking about some old school names here. Penplax. My Penplax HUB is still working strong after 25-year rest, and I will probably use it, but not with the expensive replacements. Okay, I got you, Dixon. Absolutely. Penplax been around a long time, very long time. I think they make under gravel filters too. Y'all get my last name. Yeah, Atkins, your last name is Nature Aquariums. We all know that. No, it was a good thought. It might be your other subject. Yeah, Laura, that was great. So let me know what you guys thought about the Tuesday live stream if you were there. I watched Aquarium Co-op, and Corey said I could put my own cut filter pads in it. Oh yeah, there's lots of things you can do like that, Dixon. You don't have to buy pre-cut cartridges or anything. You can get foam. I like to use polyfill. Polyfill that that you use to stuff pillows with. Take a bunch of that, you put it in there. It really does a nice job at making your filtering crap out and polishing your water. It's super cheap. You can get a whole bag of it at Walmart, and it lasts you forever. And here's the other kicker: you don't have to replace it every time. You can pull it out, rinse it off in the tap water, and put it right back in your filter. That adapter hooks up into the sink. It would drip back. Oh, okay. I still got that picture. I gotta get that thing. I want to try it. I definitely like the idea if it truly takes all the chlorine and chloramines out of your tap water, and you don't have to use a chlorinator anymore, and I don't have to buy Prime anymore. Love the idea. That just makes your fish room and easier on the bank account and more efficient. You shouldn't be connecting a RO system to a Python. Well, no, Jeff, he's talking about those RV inline filters that you can buy. That's what I want to hook up to my Python for filling my tanks, because I fill my tanks off my Python only now, because I drain all my tanks with a pump. We're talking about putting an inline RV filter that is said to take out chlorine and chloramines at a pretty good percentage, to the point that you don't have to use dechlorinators anymore. And I fill using my Python. So if I can tap that in line when I fill and eliminate the dechlorinators, that's what we're talking about. Hey, Debs, good to see you. Thanks for coming in. Yes. I don't know what you mean by cut your tap water, but I'm using it too, like I said. Non-annual killifish can reach 5 years if properly cared for. That's similar to betas and guppies. Okay. Beautiful colors on some of them. Much like guppies. Guppies are another beautiful, colorful fish. Jeff Laura, can you post Dixon's link, please, so we can sub him? Dixon, do you have a YouTube channel? He may not have a channel. Tim's freshwater tanks. Good point, Tim, or should I just say Mr. Tim? Uh-oh. Is Foxy in? Thanks for sharing the link, Jeff. Hey, Vibes, good to see you, buddy. How you doing this morning? What are you getting into, pal? I think he's looking for carbon filters. Yes, Atkins, exactly. And I think you can get 3 or 4 stage of them filters. I want to be able to fill my tanks without having to use a dechlorinator. And if one of those inline filters do it, I'll do it all the way. I'll definitely buy that adapter that you shared with me on Instagram, Atkins, and hook that up. But if you guys can guarantee it's getting rid of the chlorine and chloramines, the heavy metals and stuff, I'm all for it. But I don't have any experience with it, so I'm relying on you guys that do those inline RV filters, eliminate all the crap in our tap water to the point you don't need to use dechlorinator. I do not have any videos, but I want to try that. Oh yeah, it's fun, Dixon. You coming in here? We got a great community here. We help support each other and we learn from each other, and it's only going to make you better all around. You make friends. You don't need a membrane or a DI. Are you talking about the diatomaceous earth filters? You don't need a membrane or DI filter, sediment and carbon blocks for freshwater. Sell your house and buy one on a well. Yeah, there you go. I've had wells before. But I read some videos on that, Peplin. Even some, I think maybe it was KZ Tropicals who put a video out on that. Even well water can give you problems at times. Carbon block. Okay. Peplin agreed. Only logical situation, Jeff. Wow, live stream still going strong. Must be some great conversation. Oh, we're having great conversations, Price Tag. We're talking about everything. That's what I like. I usually, unless I have a particular subject I want to talk about, which I'll throw some in, I enjoy the general chat. A lot of times just talking with you guys, the general chat comes on its own. And that during that format, everyone gets to talk about what they want to talk about. We have a well water. My name is Juanita, and I am her. We have well water. My name is Juanita, and I am her. What's the average cost of these inline filters? They aren't bad, Swiffle. I looked it up. I can't remember because I think you can get about 4 months out of them, if I remember, depending on your situation. I can't remember. They're not too bad, but they last 4 months or so. You tap them in, and if it eliminates the dang dechlorinators, I'm all for it. But it's going to be different where you live. I can't remember what they cost. I can't remember. I was just up early hunting cottage cheese. Bunny. Perfect, Winnie. You won't need a dechlorinator at all. Dang it. Deionize. Okay, I got you. And then I think you have those diatone filters, which is diatomaceous earth. which I hear those diatome filters are the best way to clear a tank fast. Maybe you have green water, brown water, or whatever. I guess those diatomaceous earth filters are awesome. I spent about $200 on my carbon filter. Good Lord. Oh, that's with everything. Okay. But how much is the actual filter replacement? I used sediment and carbon block on the line coming into my fish room. It was scary at first, not using dechlorinator, but nice now. Yeah, and I feel like I'd be there too, Joanne. I feel like I'd be like, oh God, I'm filling this tank up, not putting anything in it after all these years. But when you guys say sediment, what are you talking about? What sediment are you talking about? Yep, absolutely, Bunny. Bunny said it best. I got over a year of my single 10-inch carbon block. A year. Wow. How did you know, Atkins, how did you know that the carbon block was saturated and not absorbing anymore? How did you know? Did you test your water and see a gradual decline? That's all right, Bob. You can learn. Appreciate you coming in, buddy. Yeah, old school, but I hear they are awesome. You can take diatomaceous earth and spread it around your yard, and it gets rid of ticks and fleas. And how it works is, once it gets on their body, it absolutely absorbs all the moisture out of their body and kills them. Good natural way to get rid of fleas and ticks. You can actually put it on your dogs too, from what I understand. $20 for a carbon block, not bad. That's what I was asking, Swiftle. And just going by my chemical filtration mentality, the only way you truly know when carbon is done absorbing is, I would imagine, you'd have to test maybe your total dissolved solids in your aquarium, or maybe the fish start acting weird. How do you actually know when carbon's not doing its job anymore? The only way you can know is to test the water. Sediment is like a mechanical filter. Okay. Sediment filters is a filter that water goes through first to catch the debris, and then it's going to go through the carbon. And exactly how do you go about using a carbon block? I still have OTDs. That's how I know. I run a triple TDS probe on my filter, one coming in and one coming out the membrane and one coming out of the DI. I now use 4-stage RODI. Good Lord. You got a setup, Atkins. I use gauges and chlorine tests as backup to check my carbon blocks. It was still good after a year, but I changed it anyway. I paid $50 for 2 of them and a sediment cartridge. And I do believe the Aquarium Co-op test strips check chlorine and Stuckbat is a great video on his setup. Cool. Yeah, that's definitely something I've been wanting to get into. I want to get one of them filters that I can put in line with them on my Python, so I can get away from having to buy dechlorinators. The only thing I could say is a downside of that, not having Prime or like your Fritz Complete, is because they do detoxify ammonia, nitrite, and nitrate for, I think, up to 24 hours. Now, it does not remove these things. It simply detoxifies them. So let's say if you have an issue, but you got to go to work and you found there must be a fish had died in your aquarium and your ammonia spiked. But you don't have time to deal with it. You can dose some Prime in there. You can even double the dose go to work and know it's not going to kill your fish. I guess you could still do that even though you're using the inline filter system. You could keep the prime around for that purpose. But I think it's going to be like a scary thing, like John was saying, like at first, just fill in the tank. But it must work well because you guys do it and you've been doing it for a while now and you swear by it. So there's many different kinds of brands and lengths of being good. It depends on use and make. I know people that change monthly and others they get multiple years. Rusty Wessel uses a giant carbon filter. There are so many. Well, what are some good ones? Like are the ones I could possibly get at Lowe's any good? Would they work? I love this idea. But my problem too is, Atkins, I know that you said the adapter goes on the faucet, but if the filter's too long, that sink in that bathroom, which is the only sink I can use to hook my Python up to, it's kind of shallow. So I don't think my filter, that's the other reason why I didn't do it. I don't think my filter will work because of the way my sink is. I keep prime on hand for conventions, clubs, events when I need it. Okay. Atkins uses the BRS filters. Great conversation. Lowe's has some good. Look at whole home filters. I got mine from Amazon. I think maybe Lowe's, probably cheaper on Amazon. But I'll check that out, John. Appreciate you guys sharing this information with me. Run tubing between the adapter and the inline filter. Okay, so I can get that flex that I need to come out of the sink. You're saying, okay, that makes sense. What are your thoughts on powdered prime? I forgot the name. The name of that is Safe Swiffle, and powdered prime is great for larger tanks, or if you have a crap ton of aquariums. It lasts longer, and a lot of people love it over the liquid prime. It's just as good. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just in a powder form versus liquid form. I think a lot of people that buy that because they have a lot of aquariums, or you have a very large aquarium, it goes and it lasts longer for you. I think Jeff uses the Safe, the Seachem, or the Seachem Safe. It's a lot more smelly. Which one's more smelly, Atkins, the Safe or like the liquid prime? Because I do know the liquid prime has a really good, strong sulfuric smell. I'm assuming the powder wouldn't be as strong smelling. I'm thinking that I really need to look into these filter cartridges and the idea of being able to use my well water and not haul the spring water. Yeah, they told me about this a while ago, and I love the idea. But just filling it up, not having to buy something else, right? The more efficient you make your fish room, the least cost, the more you can enjoy it, the more money you have in your bank account. It's a win-win. Safe is worse. Now, why do you hate Safe, Atkins? Because I hear so many people, as with anything, you have different opinions, but how come you don't like Safe? Oh, the smell you're saying. Okay. My bad. I've never used it. I've always just used the liquid prime. And, if you've seen my videos in my fish rooms, I try to keep it as efficient and cost effective as possible. And I am not one to have 600 different products laying around in a cabinet doing nothing. I only keep what I use, and everything else goes. So I have prime. I like to keep stability on hand. I have Seachem Stress Guard. And then my liquid fertilizers that I'm currently trying Thrive. And I also have Aquarium Crops Easy Green, but I'm trying both of them because I do like to give my plants a boost. And of course, my favorite medications to keep on hand are the API medications. But I keep only what I use, and I get rid of the waste. If you look at the whole home filters, pay attention to the GPH and GPM that they are and what you need. Some units you change cartridges, some you replace the whole unit. Okay. Yeah, I would imagine you would want to be able to just replace the cartridges instead of having to buy a whole new unit, right? Safe is awesome, but it does have a stink to it. Okay. Thanks for sharing, Cornish. 2 tanks. Pout. There ain't nothing wrong with that. But if you're getting back into it, that's probably going to change real quick, Dixon. It's smelling. My tanks are still on the smaller end. Biggest is a 75, so I don't need much. It's easier to overdo it and possibly deplete oxygen. Ooh. So what are you saying? You're saying if you have too much carbon on an aquarium, you can deplete oxygen? Same here, John. I'm a CChem guy. The only thing I like about Fritz's products is their packaging is way cooler. I mean, they got a bottle that's labeled Monster. Like, CChem's real bland. But I do like Fritz is a good product, but their packaging and their products look way cooler. But I'm a CChem guy. No safe. Oh, okay. I got you. Thanks, Atkins. Yeah, I'm so used to taking my prime and using the cap, doing it for years now. I know it. I'm used to it. And that's something you need to think about when you're using any product, including medications. You need to familiarize. Let's use medications. There's so many medications out there that you can use for your fish. They can come down with something that your salt's just not going to fix, right? There's so many out there that's going to do the same thing and get you there. I use API. I've tried other ones, but I have familiarized myself with the API medications. I know exactly. I don't have to read the directions anymore. I know exactly what I got to do, for how much, for what problem I have. And I don't deviate from that because I don't want to overdose. I don't want to make mistakes. Another thing you have to take in consideration when using products is, like, Atkins has a 75-gallon tank. Let's say ick spreads through his tanks. Atkins understands that he has a marketed 75-gallon tank, but there's not actual 75 gallons of water in that aquarium. There's maybe, after his substrate and his decor and his filters and the actual inside measurements of that tank, he might have 65 gallons of water in that tank. So he understands that you got to dose for 65 gallons so you don't overdose. Too much safer prime will deplete oxygen. I know, Atkins, that you can double and even triple liquid prime as needed, and it doesn't cause issues. I switched from Stability to Fritz. I think threats work better in my threats. I switched from Stability to Fritz. I think, okay, Swiffle. And that's the thing. Everybody teaches their own. They're both good products. They both have a team of scientists that work day in and day out. I don't know. I just stick to my prime and my CChem products. I like the CChem Cichlid Lake Salt, which I use in my Abuna tanks. I know you can quad dose it, but don't go past that. Yeah. I use these tiny little spoons to dose the safe, like 8 and 16th. Okay, Cornish. Yeah, you got to be careful. You got to understand how much water volume you actually have in your aquarium. It's a difference in what looks cool and new getting popularity from social media and the one that has a history of working, like new cool key. Exactly, John. But, you know, if you're the one selling the product, it's something you got to think about. Let's make these things look cool. Let's give it a cool name. Like, this is Monster. This stuff right here is going to make it so you never have to clean a tank again, right? What are these people that don't know going to buy? No, I'm not saying that Fritz says that. Oh, okay, Atkins. So you have additional water volume. You have a 40-gallon sump underneath. So you do have more than 75 gallons. See, but in my case, I have that a little bit. I have canister filters under my tanks. So let's say I have a 125 Oscar tank here with an FX6 underneath. I think the FX6 holds an additional, 4 to 5 gallons of water. But I don't, even with that, but it's not a sump, I realize, I don't actually have 125 gallons of water in that tank. Swiffle, and I did a video on this, and that video actually is doing decent as time goes on. I didn't trust test strips either. I always use the API Liquid Master Test Kit. Well, then I wanted to try the Aquarium Co-op test strips because someone told me they were great. So I got them and I tried it and I compared them to the API Liquid Master Test Kit, and I found that they were both very accurate and very close to reading the same. And then I was talking about this subject, Dan, over at Everyday Fish Keeping. And I said, I hate the Tetra test strips. You know, they're terrible. I find that the Aquarium Co-op multi-test strips are very much in line with the API Liquid Master test kits. And his reply was, and I didn't think about it like this, was this. It doesn't matter what test strip or what test kit you use. They're all going to be accurate to you. And what he means by that is these are just tools. And not any of them are going to be the same. But let's say you decided to go get the Tetra test strips and you use them consistently, and that's the only test strip you use. They're going to be accurate to your tanks and what you read, and you use them as your baseline, because from there on out, they're going to be accurate to your tanks as they change because you're using the same test strip. They're going to give you the reading that they record from here on out, keeping you in line with where your tanks are at. The Aquarium Co-op test strips may give you a slight reading, but if you keep using them, it's still giving you the reading of where your tanks are at. So it doesn't matter. Accuracy doesn't matter. They're accurate to that test or to that test kit. So any of them will work. You just have to keep using the same one so you understand where you're at going forward. And that made sense. Excuse me. And it is one of my favorites, Swiffle. I have it. I use it all the time. I am thinking you are right at Swiffle. Quiet. A tank that you did zero maintenance on would be boring. I think so too, Cornish, since I like working in my tanks. Now, however, when it comes to small tanks like your 10 and 20 gallons, I love the dirted, sand-capped, plant-controlled tanks. Because all you have to do is top them up every once in a while. The plants look better than any other plant in my other aquariums that are being dosed with liquid fertilizers. I do nothing with these plants. They're green, they're luscious, and they're exploding out of the tank. You have to keep your stocking low in those type of tanks. Small fish, cherry shrimp, things like that. But when it comes to them smaller tanks, as I discussed at the beginning of this live stream, one of my new projects are going to be 2 20-gallon longs that are going to be dirted, sand-capped, natural, plant-controlled tanks. Because you just enjoy them. It's low stocking. The plants do all the work. You don't even need a sponge filter. Maybe throw a little air stone in for some flow if you want it. But I do love the low maintenance, smaller tanks. I don't ever have to put product in these tanks. I never have algae issues. There's not blackbeard algae taking over my plants. They're beautiful. And they're literally busting out of the aquarium with no help. Once you go, I don't know what that means, Swiffle. Once you go why I love salt, it never gets boring. Sorry, but freshwater can get boring to me. Still love these though. I got jackets. Each your own, man. I don't want to deal with salt. I thought about setting up a saltwater tank, but I don't want to have to deal with having to mix the salt water, having it on hand, and buying salt when you freaking need it. All that extra cost, and the fish are expensive. They're beautiful. You can't beat a saltwater fish, but you can't beat that price either. It makes sense. Each test strip has a baseline. Once you learn the baseline, exactly, Swiffle, and he pointed that out to me, I'm like, I don't know why I never thought about that. So they all work. They're all going to get you there. You just have to stick with one you're going to choose and go with it. And the same thing, I put a short out about, they would take the aquarium co-op test strips, take a scissor and cut them in half. Well, I said, okay, let's make that better. Use a rotary tool. Now you're taking 200 strips, turning it into 400 strips, and you can do the same thing with your Tetris test strips. It'll last you forever testing your tanks. I set up salt again a little while back. I got bored by it, so went back 100% fresh for now. Okay, see, yeah, that's neat how, the different opinions and trying different things. But that's what makes the hobby fun. If we all did the same thing, and we all had that same fish, and we all had that same tank and those same plants, that would get very boring. So it's so important to have different things to talk about. I love that Atkins comes in and shares his experience with his saltwater tanks. We all help each other out. But yeah, as time goes on, I'm getting even bigger into these dirted, sand-capped, plant-controlled tanks. Maybe I'll put it on some video. It's all on my video. If anybody wants to see my 10-gallon dirted tank, it's on there. Beautiful. I could never keep the saltwater tanks clean, and it made me crazy, but they are beautiful if you have the knack for them. Oh, yeah, they're great. John got a free one set up for him over at KG Tropical. It was a big old tank with salt water. I mean, I think he bought the fish, but the tank, everything else set up was free. It was very cool. So nobody had ever did answer. I'd need to know if anybody's in here that caught my Tuesday live stream at 6 p.m. Eastern. Did you guys like that setup? Laura asked that question a while back and really didn't get an answer on it. And I am curious what you guys thought about my Tuesday live streams. I only go about an hour on that one. Once you have API test kit, Swiffle, I like them a lot. I love that test kit. I've been using it since day one. I'm running 12 tanks, maybe soon 14. It is just not practical to use the API test kit on that many tanks. It takes way too long just to test one parameter. Even as quick and efficient as I got with it, it takes way too long to test all these tanks. And then you're rinsing the tube out. And if you've got to reuse those tubes, you have to make sure you take a paper towel, get all that excess tap water out, or you'll get a false reading for your next test. But if you're like me, and I'm assuming you've accumulated quite a few of those glass vials, and you don't need to do that. But it takes forever to test multiple tanks. With the test strips, and under 5 minutes, I can go around and test them all, and you're done. So what I do now is I use my aquarium co-op test strips once a week. I see where my water's at. Then, if I feel like I have an issue or a false reading, I go to my API Liquid Master test kit for maybe like a deeper look into the parameters, or just to double check the strips, because I've had false readings. That's why I have said it's always good to have a couple different of those tests around for those reasons. I like the setup on Tuesday. I really debated joining in live, but didn't want to interrupt. I didn't know if you could join in. Oh, yeah. Hey, anytime you guys want to join my live streams, you let me know. I'll put the link in the chat. That's what I like to do. I like anybody to come up, share their tanks, talk. That's what it's all about. Never feel like you'd be interrupting. You're more like, we were talking prior to that. You were already invited to come up. Unless I'm talking about something, like in particular, I have a particular subject, I always want people to come up. Oh yeah, Dixon, absolutely. The multi-test strips, you got multiple tanks, much easier. The API test kit, you got one or two tanks, even three, even four. It's great too. But I have a full-time job. I got a lot of tanks. I don't have the time to go around with the API Liquid Master test kit, test all my single tanks. I got to go boom, 3 seconds, 3 seconds, 3 seconds, set it up there, let it sit for a little bit. Good to go. And it is every bit as accurate as the API Liquid Master test kit. Yes, sir. Price tag. Price tag. I like when people come up and hang out with me and share their aquariums and show and tell type of thing. Any of you guys are in my live stream, whether it's Tuesdays or Saturday mornings, and you guys want to come up and you feel like talking about your tanks and you want to show your tanks off, let me know. I'll put the link in the chat. All you have to do is click it. It'll bring you right up on the panel. You don't have to download anything. I only use the test kit when I think there's a problem. Yeah, Swiffle, absolutely. If your fish are swimming around, they're eating, they're colorful, they're happy, they're healthy, they're energetic, there's not a problem. Recently, I started checking total dissolved solids with the Inkbird. I put a video out on that because I've never done it. I've never had to worry about it. It's nothing I really fuss about. I still don't. But I like to know what my water's doing. So I bought that thing, and it's pretty cool how it works. Sorry about the cough. My throat's getting dry. You can see that one aquarium over there. It's brighter than the others with the terracotta pot. That has this light on it. The Nicru RGB plus white 24/7. This is the one that gets real hot to the touch. It's rolling at about 114 degrees. I have dyed them down. You can still see how much brighter it is. Can you guys see that? Let me do this. The big piece of driftwood in the terracotta pot. I recently made a cave in there for the big pleco in there. You can see how bright it is. Let me hit that with the temp gun and see where it's at. So another tip, if you haven't seen it, a great way to check your temperature in your tanks, especially if you have a lot of them and you get sick of those thermometers, suction cups, which I have a trick for that on my channel too, to keep them staying, because those suction cups that come with them thermometers always fail. But Fluval makes an awesome suction cup that you can zip tie to those thermometers and they stay on the glass forever. I keep them in my tanks, but if you want a quick tip for checking your tanks, and I have checked the accuracy of this thing with the in-water mercury thermometers, it's very close, very accurate. I like this Cobalt temperature gun. It works pretty good. $113 degrees that thing's sitting at. That's pretty warm for a light. Let's hit this big aqua sky. $93 degrees. My favorite Night Crew light they sent me is 97. All the other Night Crew lights are not as hot as that one. Yeah, Swiffle. Let's see. Mad Max says, I always recommend beginners to test regularly. But once you have a couple years under your belt, you start to learn your first fish behavior, and that will lead you to know something is wrong with the tank. Yeah, absolutely. Getting familiar with your fish, same with birds, dogs. You actually learn just by the way they're acting. Hey, I got to go outside without even having to tell you anything. That's very good advice, Mad Mex. And I think too, as time goes on and your tanks get more mature and seasoned and stronger, the less you have to worry about checking your tanks, unless you have a kind of large fish that died and you didn't know, spiking your ammonia. And that, Mad Max, is why I still like to continue checking my tanks once a week. With the strips, it's so fast. Go around, just check what your water's doing. You know, some of these little fish that might die and you don't even freaking know they're dead could spike your ammonia. Yeah. Hey, Jim, good to see you, buddy. Thanks for coming in. Oh, shit. Why blood parrots? I don't know. Oh, yeah. So, well, there are great ways to just blast it. What I do is I aim the LED down into like on a rock or right on the substrate, and it's every bit as accurate as the thermometers. This one is. It's very close. You just go boom, 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 boom. You know where your tanks are at. I like to do every morning and every night. What I like to do is I'll check my hang in the back filters and make sure they're not clogged, and I'll go around with this and check the temperature of my tanks to make sure I don't have a heater failure. I do that every morning and night because I don't want to be one of them people that lost fish because a heater failed. Or I've read stories about hanging the back filters burning houses down because they clogged up and sat there and got hot and the impeller stopped. A friend of mine got out of the fish keeping hobby because his hanging the back burnt his freaking house down. They never kept another fish again. But he wasn't checking it hanging the back either. Let me just put this on here and let it go. No, things need maintenance. On the quail incubators. Okay, cool. So you got some quails. We have a Quaker parrot and a cockatiel. Yeah, so this temperature gun says my Mbuna tank's 81 degrees. Now it looks like the actual mercury thermometer is sitting at right exactly at 80. So you can see they're right there with each other. Yeah, it works pretty good. You can pick between obviously Fahrenheit and Celsius. It has a nice backlight on the screen. You just click it once and then put it on the tank. You can hold the value like I've showed you. I'll zap the tank and bring it back, and it's still showing you what the aquarium temperature is. Ammonia is your biggest challenge when starting up an aquarium. Once your aquarium cycles, you will really have exactly max. And if you do, your aquarium just ain't cycled better, or something's wrong. Same with nitrites. If you cycled your aquarium and then all of a sudden you're having ammonia and nitrite spikes, that is a problem. That should never be. The only thing that you should see a fluctuation in is nitrates. Good point. Oh, yeah, Swiftful. You got to get one in the fish room, man. Boom, 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 boom. Mad Max coming in with some awesome points. Appreciate it. And Mad Max knows he's got a lot of aquariums. I agree with using the test strip and temp guns for multiple tanks. The easier you make those tasks, the more likely you are to actually do them. Exactly. And then it's less of a chore, Max, and more fun enjoying your fish instead of working in them or worrying about stuff. Just go around. Could you imagine Mad Mex using the API Liquid Master Test Kit on all of his tanks? That's an 8-hour process. he got some aquariums over there. I got 12, maybe soon to be 14. And I don't want to use that test kit on all these tanks. Now I will like go around with checking different parameters and like ammonia first. Because the aquarium co-op test strips, you have to get the ammonia strips separately. He tried to combine them, but they told him it can't happen. So now he has 2 different ones. But with the ammonia test strip, you have to go up and out of the water for 30 seconds. So basically count to 30. And then you check it immediately, which is great. But I just buy their multi-test strips. I don't even worry about the ammonia ones. If I want to check ammonia, I do have the API Liquid Master Test Kit. But in a case like Mex, I don't even know how many tanks you have, Mex, but I know you got a lot. I couldn't imagine doing that API Liquid Master Test Kit every time you wanted to check tanks. It's just so unpractical. It's ridiculous. I want somebody to tell me I am terrible at sexing my fish. I have no idea what is a male and a female. And I had this conversation with Corey at Aquarium Co-op. Not a conversation. I was talking with him on his live a while back. I asked, how can you tell a female from a male with mbunas? His reply was, good luck. Because they both can be colorful. They both can share the same dorsal fin forehead shapes, much like the angelfish. The only true way to tell is to look at their goods. But I don't even understand how to do that. No way, too long. Heck yeah, dude. You'd have an 8-hour day testing tanks. Oh, hey, June. Good to see you. How are you today? What are you doing this morning? You got 32 aquariums and totes. That's a lot of tanks. That's a lot of aquariums. If anybody watches Mad Max knows when he does his live stream, you can look behind him and he has a hall of aquariums. So far, pretty good. Great. Glad to hear. Let me get a cough drop. Yeah, I've heard that, Max. And to vent them, you got to like take them up out of the water, right? And you have to like explain venting to me, sir. I've never done it. I don't know how to do it. I'm outside. Thanks for the live stream. Great discussion. See you soon. See you. Thanks, Price Tag. Absolutely appreciate you, buddy. Be safe. Have a good rest of your weekend. Appreciate your time. Yeah, I don't know how to vent. I don't know how to vent a fish. I don't know what that. I understand what it means, but I don't know how to do it. Oh yeah, let's see. June's in. June, can you share Mad Mex's link so Dixon can sub? Please, miss. You know, my wife's a mod, and she's my wife, but she never comes into my live streams. Hey, Garcia. Good to see you, buddy. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. June got it. Thank you, June. Oh, what are you talking about, babe? I know. What's the matter? Oh, here we go. You're digging a hole this morning. You know me, Laura. I'm an instigator. I was smoking you on them stop signs. Let me see. We are 2 hours, 16 minutes in. I went longer on purpose to see this Saturday to see if more people would come in. And I have noticed that if I go ahead and run over the 2 hour, 15-minute mark, I get the likes of Mad Mex, June, and Garcia in here. Yeah. So if I can, I think I'll start doing that. Go a little longer so I can say hello to you. Say hello to all my friends from jail. But I do think with that, I will sign off. We got some things to take care of. I certainly appreciate everybody coming in and chatting with me. It was a great discussion. We touched on a lot of topics, and I really enjoyed it. I hope you guys did too. I jumped in his live a little bit there, Garcia, but I had to go, or June, because like I said, you weren't. I had a late night last night. I think I got 4 hours of sleep. The wife maybe got 2 hours of sleep. But thank you all for coming in. I am going to sign off. I will see you Tuesday at 6 p.m. Eastern for the Tankin' Tuesdays live stream. We met a new friend, Dixon, here. Dixon is been keeping fish, old school fish keeper that took a 25-year hiatus, and he's now getting back into it. So everybody welcome Dixon. Thank you, Laura. I appreciate you. All right, Big Steve, let us know, sir. Thank you. It was nice to meet you, Dixon. Yeah. Sorry, Tim. Thank you, buddy. You too, Debs. It is Saturday already, June. June's just waking up. All right. Having said that, I'm out. Appreciate you all. Thanks you for your time. Be safe. Have a good rest of your weekend. We'll see you Tuesday. Thank you, Raisin. Yeah, me too, June. I had to ask him. Just Dixon. 9 a.m. Eastern my time, Dixon, on Saturday. Yes, and then I also do 6 p.m. Eastern time on Tuesdays. Oh, wow. Hey, Gordon. Good to see you, sir. I'm just about to sign off. Thanks for dropping in to say hello. Appreciate it. You're late. I got to jump off. I'd love to have you come up. June hasn't slept yet. That sounds right. 7 a.m. here in Idaho. So if it's 7 a.m. for you, it is. Oh, that's for. Okay, I got you. Yeah, I hope so, man. I do this every Saturday, 9 a.m. Eastern, and I also started a second one Tuesday, 6 p.m. Eastern. You're more than welcome to come in and come up. I like to have anybody come up. The more the merrier. And we just discuss whatever pops up, man. So that'd be cool maybe next time. But I do got to jump off. We got some things to take care of, some important business. So until next time, appreciate you all. Hope to see you on the next live streams.